I sort of situate things in the past 60 years or so, and then even more recently with the Year of St. Joseph in 2020. But even going back 150 years, the last all the popes since since Pius the Ninth have written of or spoken about Saint Joseph, and he's just had a wave of interest and a very active presence in the church. Of course, his very humble, hidden, silent presence goes back to the very beginning of the incarnation, and that is where some of our presentations will also focus their attention. But there just seems to be such a wonderful wave of attention and appreciation in the past 150 years, and then even increasingly in the past couple of decades. I think we have is he our first pope to have on his coat of arms a symbol of Saint Joseph? And we're certainly blessed in so much growth in Josephology in our time. So I think it's really exciting development that's been taking place in the uh, creating of a Josephology Society, and some excellent theologians and scholars who will also are putting together a journal, and then of course we have this international symposium that has generated your presence, which we delight in. Of course, 5-hour symposium, we expect that people will come and go a bit and tune in for different presentations. Hopefully you're able to track maybe some particular interests. I would say we are blessed with some excellent speakers, and which I'm very much looking forward to. So really exciting occasion, and you're all an important part of it. It's so nice to see so many people from so many places, and the variety of states in the United States and variety of countries throughout the world, and some of you at very inconvenient times of the day or night because of the time difference. There's only so many times that can reach the whole world in a semi-reasonable time frame. And so we're grateful for some of the sacrifices, including that of our first speaker. And she is slotted first because she's going to be coming to us from Rome. But really grateful to have all of you with us. And uh, allow me to just introduce our president of the Josephology Society, Father Edward Looney, who has a lot of experience in this because of his work with the Mariological Society, and he's been a great leader for us as we have gotten things developed over the past several months, and really grateful to be able to welcome, well, he is welcoming us in some way. I'm welcoming him, welcoming us, and really grateful to introduce him for some introductory remarks and to get us going.
Yes, I guess you could call this like a presidential address, but just to set the scene for all of us as we gather for this symposium and for really the beginning of what will become the Josephology Society International over the years to come and the contributions to make. So yeah, prepared a little reflection for all of us just on how we got to where we are today and where we could go in the future. So this is the hope for Josephology. Theology programs introduce students to a wide range of theological topics, such as Christology, moral theology, sacramental theology, etc. A course on Mary might be included, or it could be relegated as one or two classes in an interdisciplinary model, often being reduced to the topic of Marian apparitions and not the rich tradition surrounding Our Lady. A course on St. Joseph, which we know as Josephology, is even more rare. A theologian can belong to any number of theological associations. For example, as a Marian theologian, I'm a member of the Mariological Society of America and have given several papers over the years, which have been published in the Society's journal Marian Studies. Other theological societies include, by no way are limited to the following: the Catholic Theological Society of America, the American Academy of Religion, the College Theology Society, the North American Patristic Society, the Catholic Biblical Association, and also the Society for Catholic Liturgy. This is only to name a few. These special societies promote the advancement of their branch of theology through ongoing research and symposiums, conferences, and publications. Such publications become resources to future scholars in theology who draw upon their insights for their own research and writing. Josephology might be described as a specialized niche within theology, and its development or advancement may only attract the devotionally minded scholars. Like the Blessed Virgin, Joseph too has his own theological societies. In 1962, the North American Society of Josephology was founded in Montreal, where in 1952, a research and documentation center for Josephology had been in operation. A Spanish society for the Latin American countries, Spain and Portugal, was organized in 1951 and in 1953 became known as the Ibero-American Society of Josephology. A theological periodical also existed, Estudios Josefinos, which was published in Spain beginning in 1947. While St. Joseph has had a place in the theological world through these various societies, it appears that such societies have dwindled in numbers and have actually ceased to exist. In 2019, our Holy Father, Pope Francis, inaugurated a special year to St. Joseph, which sparked and renewed interest in this saint. The year of St. Joseph led to a new appreciation for St. Joseph in the Church's devotional life, and popular authors and theologians penned works released during the special year and beyond. With a renewed interest in the earthly father of Jesus, it seemed it was the right time to offer once again a professional academic society dedicated to St. Joseph. During the year of St. Joseph, I proposed the idea to John Lewis, currently serves as our vice president, and in the years that followed, he persistently encouraged me to launch this dream of mine. So tonight, we gather for the first time in this virtual way for the inaugural Josephology Society International Symposium, with an inspired theme from Pope Francis in the 2025 Jubilee Year of Hope. Here's the dream for the society. The idea of Josephology, of the Josephology Society International, took root in my heart back in my seminary years. If I guessed, probably 2013. I undertook an independent study with a professor who shaped my own theological trajectory, really a mentor. I could choose any topic that I wanted, and I would research it thoroughly and write a 20-page paper. I decided that I wanted to research a Josephological topic. Did Mary and Joseph have a true marriage? I researched the question drawing from Gratian and his Decretals to St. Thomas Aquinas and his Summa Theologiae, and what other Mariologists and Josephologists had written over the years. It was during that time of study that I discovered that Josephological societies previously mentioned existed, and I was disheartened that I could not join such a society like I had done for the Mariological Society. It was at that time the seed for a Josephological Society was planted and would take several more years to be nurtured and grow. In my email, in my personal email, I found an email that I had sent to Father Donald Calloway on May 20th, 2019. I wrote to him about 5 points. One of them, I'll just share one of them that's a passion of mine, but we celebrate liturgically regarding Mary, the dogmas, the Immaculate Conception, the motherhood of God, the Assumption, the Immaculate Conception, but we don't celebrate Mary's ever virginity, her perpetual virginity. And so I proposed to him, wondering in one of those points what he thought about returning to the ever virgin and having a liturgical celebration of it. But that's just a digression there. One of the points was about St. Joseph. I said, quote, "Given your love for St. Joseph, it's been on my heart for some time to start and refound the Josephological Society of America, which would promote study of St. Joseph. Would this be something you might be interested in helping to refound? I don't yet have my STL, a few classes and a thesis away. That was in 2019. So it'd be great to have someone behind it like you," end quote. So this marked the second planting of the seed. And when I wrote the email, I was only going from memory. And today I can't find the existence of a Josephological Society of America. I must have been thinking of the North American Society. But the intention for a professional academic society was there. Again, it would take a few more years of watering the seed before we arrived at the announcement on October 13th of 2024. As mentioned, I had not yet finished my own academic degree of a licentiate in sacred theology. The pandemic year had postponed it, and I had lacked the motivation now at that time to persevere. But every time I would keep thinking about finishing it, one of my encouragements was the hope of founding the Josephology Society. I did complete the degree in 2023, but I was also finishing my term as the president of the Mariological Society of America and knew the Josephology Society International would have to wait. With that term completed in May of 2024, I knew that this seed planted in 2013 was nearing its time to bloom. Several conversations with individuals who had become charter members occurred. Both John and my dreams for this society became a reality. Interest has only grown since our announcement, and as word continues to spread. I cannot wait to see what will become and what contributions will be made by the society. So I'd like to now just turn our attention to a few hopes of St. Joseph in the world, in our world today, and maybe just the first, a brief overview of some of the literature recently published about St. Joseph. While many classics about St. Joseph exist, such as Father Francis Philus's The Man Nearest to Jesus, among others, in our contemporary age, the most popular in the last decade has been Father Donald Calloway's Consecration to St. Joseph, maybe one of the many reasons you're here today, which has reignited the popular devotion. In the masterful book, he weaves together quotes from saints and many stories and traditions surrounding St. Joseph. Over the last 10 years, several books have been published about St. Joseph, some self-published, others by prominent Catholic publishers. And some authors are devoted laity, others are professional writers, and others theologians. One book which captured a layman's devotion to St. Joseph was Dennis McGeehan's The Diaries of Joseph and Mary. I met Dennis through the Catholic Writers Guild. While some would not consider his book impressive, what I personally admired was his zeal in promoting it and wanting to get it in the hands of people. He has since passed away, but I would think if he was alive today, he would have loved to have been a part of our society. During our current renaissance of publishing pertaining to St. Joseph, Mike Aquilina's book, St. Joseph and His World, is a valuable contribution. And allow me to list just a handful of many of the resources published in the last few years. Father Boniface Hicks, who is serving as our MC for most of the night, his book, Through the Heart of St. Joseph. Carrie Shooks Daunt and Dwayne Daunt have a book, Man Your Post, Learning to Lead Like St. Joseph. Monsignor Dominique Letourneau, To Know St. Joseph, What Catholic Tradition Teaches About the Man Who Raised God. Father Koth published The Imitation of St. Joseph. Donald Calloway and Sam Estrada, The Chaste Heart of St. Joseph, a graphic novel. Our very own Scott Smith, he published The Consecration to St. Joseph for Children with Father Calloway. Father Mark Goring, The St. Joseph, the Protector, a 9-day preparation for entrustment to St. Joseph. Mary Amore, Every Day with St. Joseph. Louise Perota, St. Joseph, the Tender Father, His Life and Care for Us Today. Father Gary Castor, Joseph, the Man Who Raised Jesus. Deacon Greg Kendra, Befriending St. Joseph, Finding Faith, Hope, and Courage in the Seven Sorrows Devotion. And Jose Rodriguez, The Book of Joseph. And he has another one on the apparitions of Joseph. Suffice to say, many new works about St. Joseph have been published in recent years. These are only some of the titles. A fruitful academic study could analyze whether contemporary Josephological works present new theological insights or reaffirm traditional understandings. Comparative studies between modern and classic texts could also provide valuable perspectives. The greatest hope of the new literature is the formation of Catholics to grow in knowledge of and love for St. Joseph. There's also been a growing interest of St. Joseph in art. So not only have we seen this increase of writings about St. Joseph, but he's captivated the mind, heart, and hand of contemporary artists. As one walks through art museums, I always marvel at the medieval and Renaissance Baroque art because many of them are inherently religious. I found myself praying rosary decades before many paintings in art museums. A day browsing could become a mini retreat of prayer and reflection. Our Josephology website dons Murillo's painting The Holy Family with a bird, and artists today like Gwyneth Thompson Briggs and Kate Capato have brought forward artistic depictions. Father Calloway commissioned numerous paintings of St. Joseph for his consecration book, and St. Joseph the Worker is even depicted as a mural on a building within a stone's throw of the St. Joseph Shrine in Detroit, Michigan. The hope of devotion to St. Joseph emerges from the brush of artists who are presenting him in new expressions for the third millennium. And finally, film. St. Joseph is prominently featured in films about the Nativity. Certainly, a study could be done about his presentation in film and what it communicates to the viewer. For example, the animated movie The Star, while portraying Mary in a marvelous fashion, does a disservice to St. Joseph, who they depict as a bumbling, aloof man. Many films seek to tell the story of Mary, such as Mary of Nazareth 2012, or more recently, the 2023 Netflix original Mary, which I do not recommend. Films like these include a portrayal of Joseph in the life of Jesus and Mary. The Formed platform hosts a dramatized life of Joseph in Nazareth, which claims to be the first feature-length film treating St. Joseph, released in 2000. The movie takes several licenses, even in the opening moments of the film and throughout. A few documentaries have been released recently. The documentary St. Joseph, Our Spiritual Father highlights several interviewees, from Father Calloway to Mike Aquilina, to personal stories of Joseph's influence in people's marriage or sickness, to highlighting the Dachau prison entrustment or the miracle of the staircase in Santa Fe. The 2023 documentary, A Father's Heart from Goya Productions in Spain, offered a cinematic pilgrimage to the St. Joseph apparition in Cotignac. I always get this wrong. To the St. Joseph apparition in Spain, and others in Portugal, Italy, Canada, and elsewhere. The documentary communicated the powerful intercession of St. Joseph through various devotions. It included a bonus feature of a documentary short, Our Liberator, St. Joseph and the Priests of Dachau, produced by the Knights of Columbus. A comparative analysis of Joseph's cinematic representations could yield meaningful insights. Devotion to St. Joseph is growing, not only through the rediscovery of prayers and devotions like the Sorrows and Joys of Joseph, the Seven Sunday Devotion, the Cloak of St. Joseph, and the Sleeping St. Joseph, but through the literature being published, the artistic depictions being commissioned, the films and documentaries communicating his story. All of these are great indicators of a renewed interest and devotion to St. Joseph, which can be nourished by the establishment and growth of this academic society. And finally, I wish just to conclude with a few remarks of the hope for what the Josephology Society International can accomplish. With our first inaugural symposium underway, the Administrative Council and I have dreams for what this society can become. The Josephology Society International is in its infancy stages. By God's grace, we have been able to launch in October and gather virtually for presentations in this octave day of St. Joseph's Feast. The future of the Josephology Society will continue to develop in the months ahead. We look forward to the publication of the first edition of Josephology Studies, which can include the proceedings of today's symposium, in addition to scholarships submitted for consideration. Josephology Studies will pave the way for renewal in Josephological studies and become a resource to theology students and scholars alike. Our annual symposium will serve as a cornerstone for Josephological scholarship. While this year's gathering is virtual, future symposiums will incorporate hybrid formats, allowing both in-person and online participation, ideally near a significant St. Joseph shrine. These symposiums will have a theme to which the papers will center around. A few worthwhile topics I would love to see would be a consideration of apparitions of St. Joseph. The late Monsignor Arthur Calkins has written extensively on the Josephological component of the alleged apparitions of Our Lady of America. Such a topic could allow a contribution to the ecclesial life of the church. As a Josephology Society, we could also explore the contributions of some of the great Josephologists, the papal teachings and writings about St. Joseph, or address some of the dogmatic considerations within Josephology. Some of the hot button topics outlined by Stephen Benko, for example, the perpetual virginity of Joseph, Joseph being without sin, his possible prenatal sanctification, the bodily resurrection and assumption of Joseph, and Joseph's role in the incarnation and redemption, topic that Dr. Fastigi will address later today. These are only some of my personal ideas for the Society. Our council may bring forward many other topics for future symposiums. The Josephology Society International stands at the service of the Church, dedicated to deepening our understanding of the Blessed Virgin's most chaste spouse and guardian of the Redeemer. This society is the fruit of a decade-long dream brought to fruition in God's providence. We continue the momentum begun by Pope Francis, standing on the shoulders of popes, saints, and scholars devoted to St. Joseph. May our study of Joseph lead us to greater love and his spouse and the divine child he protected. So thanks so much for being here today for our symposium, and we look forward to the presentations forthcoming.